everyone, this is Julie Bean with Beadaholique, and I'm going to show you how to make a custom link. So I'm going to show you what it looks like worked into a couple projects first so you get an idea of how you would use it. But it's this little link or beadable frame. There's a couple different things you could call it, but basically it's this really nice teardrop shape. And then in this earring here, I've actually just hung a pretty pearl and a crystal from it. So I'm calling these the Dreamy Dark Rose earrings. And then over here, I dressed it up a little bit more. And these are the Kiss by Moonlight earrings. And you can find these both over at beadaholique.com. But you see it's the exact same little teardrop shape. But on this one, I've wire wrapped it, which is quite easy to do. And we have other videos showing you how to do the wire wrapping. But I want to show you how to make that nice beadable frame, link, whatever you want to call it. Basically, it's the foundation for your design. Now you'll need wire. I have 20 gauge wire right here, and I have pre-cut myself a 3-inch piece of it. So just line it up against a ruler and you'll cut yourself 3 inches, which is what I did here. To cut it, I just use my little snips. And then you're going to need a round nose plier, and it's always good to have a chain nose plier as well. Now to form it, we are just using a standard tube of seed beads. I thought that would be easiest. It's something I think we all have on hand. So you're just going to use your tube of seed beads to form your teardrop shape. Okay, so one of the keys when you're doing this is you want to make sure that your loops that we're going to be making on either end are about the same size, as close as you can get them. And that is because if you have a really big loop, maybe on one side and a small one on the other side, it's not going to look right. Also, if you are making a pair of earrings and you have really big loops on one and really small loops on another, the overall size of your teardrop is going to change and they're not going to line up and look even. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and just grab the tip of your wire. Remember, this is 20 gauge wire. And we're just going to make a little loop. See how we're starting to curve that? So just go in and kind of take note where you are doing it on your plier. And then what we want to do is we want to notch it back a little. So to notch it back a little, just go like that. See? So now it's a little bit more centered instead of off to the side. So now we're going to go to the other side and we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to try to remember where we had it on our wire loop, our round nose pliers right here. Okay. So you can see it starting to curve. And then you curve it all the way around. And then you're just going to notch it back a little. Now, see how it kind of came apart a little bit, or it's a little separated? That's why you have your chain nose handy. And what you can do is you can go in and just grab it and bend it so it's connected. So we want our loops to be about the same size, and we'd also like them to be facing the same direction if possible. So what you can do is you can just grab it and then either with another plier or just your fingers kind of twist it a little. So hopefully they're going in about the same direction, and we can always tweak that up later. And I see there's a little black fuzzy or something on there. There we go. Okay, so now we've got a nice long expanse with the 2 loops on either side. Now we're going to bend it and form it. To do that, just take your bead container. You're going to line it up about in the middle. It's okay if it's not perfect, we'll refine that later. And now you're going to take both ends and just bend it. So you've got a U. And then you want to make it so you're pressing it against your tube. I'm trying to show this at a pretty good angle so you can kind of get an idea. And then you want your tops to crisscross. See how they're crisscrossing? But they're not totally straight. So what you want to do now is you want to go in with your chain nose pliers and grab one of those and just bend it to the point where they just line up a little bit more. And you can do this after you pull it off the tube as well, but sometimes it's nice. So now they're a little bit straighter together. So here, and when we pull the tube off, we're going to crisscross them just a little bit more. And when we pull the tube out, we have this beautiful soft teardrop. And you see how our ends are nice and pretty lined up, because what you're going to put through them eventually is going to be either a jump ring or your actual earring hook. So here we just put a nice jump ring through those ends. And then I think on this one, let me see. I just did the earring hook. So see how the loop at the base of the earring hook went right through those two loops? And that's what's gonna hold it together. But here you have your really pretty little soft teardrop beadable frame or link that you made quite easily just using some 20 gauge wire and using a tube of seed beads to bend it around. One other thing to keep in mind, besides making your loops about the same size, is just make sure you cut your wire to the same length. It doesn't have to be 3 inches. You could do 3, 3.5, even 4 for a bigger one. Just make sure that whatever you're doing, if you're making a pair of earrings, is exactly the same for both. So you don't want to do 3 inches of wire for one and 3.5 inches of wire for another, because then your teardrops won't line up. But I hope you enjoyed this. It's a fun little custom component that you can make for your jewelry. And as you can see here, there's lots of different things you can do with it after you've made that pretty little shape. You can find all the supplies as well as these projects over at beadaholique.com. Thanks everyone.